Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great-Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back to April 30th, 1952 for an episode of The Great-Gildersleeve starring Willard Waterman, the man who filled in for the original. Toward the end of the show, Harold Perry. Harold went on and did other things. He walked away from The Great-Gildersleeve thinking he was going to get rich at CBS. Didn't happen. Willard Waterman, The Great-Gildersleeve. Leroy has a bad report card. This is going to be trouble for the little man. April 30th, 1952.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. It looks like the Great Gildersleeve's nephew Leroy is going to camp this summer. What a lucky fellow. A whole month of swimming in a lake, hiking through the woods, and singing songs around a campfire to top off the day. This evening, Leroy is getting together all the necessary paraphernalia.
Hey, Unc.
What is it, Leroy?
May I come in a minute?
Oh, come in, my boy.
Sorry to interrupt you while you're paying your monthly bills.
Yeah, that's all right. It's one time when I don't mind being interrupted. What's on your mind?
Unc, are you going to use your canoe paddle this summer?
Well, I hadn't planned to.
Keen. You don't happen to have a canoe that goes with it.
Well, I used to have a canoe and a guitar that went with it.
Yeah? Where are they?
It's a long story, my boy. The young lady I was entertaining at the time didn't know much about paddling a canoe.
Tipped over, huh?
Yep. The guitar sank, the young lady waded home, and all I've got left is the paddle. What do you want with it, Leroy?
I thought I'd take it with me to camp this summer.
Camp?
Yeah, I'm getting my equipment all set. Your canoe paddle, your fishing rod, your sleeping bag, your compass.
Looks like I'm the one who should be going to camp.
Oh, I'm taking my own bathing trunks.
Well, in mine, you'd need a compass.
Boy, am I going to have fun at camp. I can't wait till school's out.
Leroy, before you get too worked up about camp, haven't you forgotten something?
I don't think so. Sleeping bag, fishing rod.
No. That isn't what I mean, my boy. I seem to recall a little agreement we made when the subject of camp first came up.
Yeah? What kind of agreement?
I'll refresh your memory. I agreed to send you to camp if you brought home a better report card.
Report card?
That thing you bring home from school with C's and D's on it, you know.
Oh, that.
Yes, that. You were pretty low in a couple of subjects. But you agreed to pull them up in exchange for a summer at camp.
Did I agree to do that? Must have been out of my mind.
It's just about report card time again, isn't it?
Yeah, tomorrow. The kids call it Terrible Thursday.
Well, I can see you're not worried about it.
I'm not?
You must be pretty confident. Getting out your camping equipment and all. Yeah, I'll bet you've been studying harder this term than you've ever studied in your life.
I guess so.
You bet. When I was in school, my boy, I never got a grade below C+ on my report cards. And you know you can do as well as I can.
I can?
Yeah. So have fun getting ready for camp, and let me know if I have anything else you'd like to borrow.
Wonder if I could borrow one of his report cards.
Miss Marjorie?
Yes, Bertie?
What's wrong with Leroy?
Leroy?
Look at him out the window there. Dragging home from school.
Where, Bertie?
Coming down the sidewalk, kicking a can.
Uh-oh. This is report card day.
The way he kicked that can, the news must be bad.
Oh, I hope not, Bertie. His trip to camp depends on this.
That poor little boy.
Hello, Leroy.
Hello, Leroy.
Hi. Anything happen at school today? Let's not beat around the bush. I don't get to go to camp.
Poor little Leroy.
May I see your report card, Leroy?
If you want to, it's in the envelope.
These grades don't look so bad, Leroy.
Yeah? Wait till you get down to the E in English.
An E?
Miss Turner gave it to me.
Oh, well, you have until June to make it up.
Yeah, but this is the report card that Unc's checking. An E in English. Why don't I give up?
Now, Leroy, don't you be discouraged.
Well, an E isn't passing, Bertie.
Well, maybe the school changed the grading system. Maybe that E stands for excellent.
Oh, Bertie.
Gosh, I didn't get a single A.
Well, maybe that's good. A could stand for awful.
Bertie, I know you're trying to make Leroy feel better, but I don't think you can sell that to Uncle Mort.
No, ma'am, I guess not.
Well, guess I better put my camping equipment back in the attic. Can't use it this year.
You're going to give up so easy, Leroy?
Gosh, there's nothing I can do, Bertie.
Okay. There was a time when Leroy would find a way, but I guess that day is gone.
Unc means it this time.
Okay, Leroy's through. Put the camping stuff away, the sleeping bag you was going to curl up in at the campfire, and your uncle's canoe paddle you said you was going to win a race with, and that fishing rod you was going to catch that big whopper with.
Don't put anything away yet, Bertie.
That's more like it.
Leroy, you can't change that E.
No, ma'am, but he can change his uncle.
Leroy, what are you doing sitting here in your room?
Oh, nothing. Marge, suppose we don't mention the report card to Unc when he comes home.
Well, he has to know about it sometime, Leroy. You have to take it back to school.
Miss Turner and her E's. I wonder if I do have to take it back.
What?
Piggy Bacon lost his report card one time and couldn't find it for weeks.
Leroy, you have it right in your pocket. It isn't lost.
Well, I've got a lot of things in my pocket that have gotten lost. Marbles, jackknife, bubble gum. I'm capable of losing a report card.
Well, Uncle Mort will be home any minute, and if I were you, I wouldn't try any funny business.
She doesn't know what I'm giving up. She's never been to a boys' camp. I wonder how Piggy lost his report card. If I did happen to lose mine for a while, I bet this whole thing would blow over and Unc would forget about it and let me go to camp. Say, it's a little stuffy in here. Why don't I open the window? Nice breeze. Now, I'll put the report card in the envelope and lay it on the ledge. If anything needs air, it's this report card. Of course, if the breeze happens to blow it away and Unc asks me where my report card is, I'll just have to be honest and tell him I don't know. Well, I guess I might as well go downstairs. And if I leave the door open, it might create a draft. There it goes, fluttering out the window. Nature sure is tricky. Wind could blow that report card into the gutter. It could go from there into a storm drain and float out into the river. It could go anywhere, around the world. Or I might find it floating in the lake this summer when I'm out in my canoe.
Hello, everybody. I'm home.
There's Unc. It got lost just in time.
Leroy!
Yeah, Unc?
Where are you, my boy?
In here, Unc.
Good. I have something for you.
Yeah?
Coming up the walk, I found this envelope with your name written on it.
Oh, for corn's sake.
Is that a note from your little girlfriend?
This girl is no friend of mine.
Fine dinner, Bertie.
Thank you, sir.
Well, if everybody will excuse me a minute, I'll go get a cigar. Everybody stay at the table, please.
Hey, it's beginning to sound like a meeting.
He's probably going to ask about your report card. I'm surprised Unky didn't look at it when he picked it up in the yard.
He thought it was a note from some girl.
I sure thought he was going to bring up that report card at dinner.
Well, I kept him off the subject, but from now on, you two have got to give me some help.
Leroy, I don't know why you don't show it to Unky and get it over with.
Marge, I got to have time to figure out something.
Shh, here he comes.
I'll have a second cup of coffee now, Bertie.
Yes, sir.
Let me light your cigar for you, Unc.
Oh, thank you, my boy. You're being unusually thoughtful tonight.
Well, I always think about lighting your cigars, but sometimes I don't get around to doing it.
Anything interesting happened here at home today, Marjorie?
Nothing really.
Try to think of something.
Bertie, anything new with you today?
Yeah, Bertie, tell us what happened to you today. All day.
Well, I'm trying to think of something, but I can't think of anything except what I'm thinking about.
Big help.
Now, let's get around to little Leroy.
Yeah?
Tell us about your day, my boy. Anything important take place at school?
Well, can I get you an ashtray?
Thank you. Now, tell us about school.
Speaking of ashtray...
Leroy, I have a feeling you're trying to change the subject.
I am?
I know something of importance that happened to you today.
You do?
Marjorie, I found an envelope in the yard this afternoon with Leroy's name on it.
Oh?
Yep. I was just turning into the yard when I saw it blow out of Leroy's window.
You did?
I assumed it was a note from one of Leroy's little girlfriends. Was I right, Leroy?
Oh, Unc, let's not talk about my girlfriends. I'll bet when you were in school you got a lot more notes than I ever will. With your personality, I'll bet you were a big wheel with the girls. Don't you, Marge? Don't you, Bertie? Wouldn't you like to hear Unc tell all about it, huh? Come on, tell us about it, huh?
By George, Leroy, you're taking me back a good many years.
Good.
And once I start reminiscing, I can go on all evening.
Go ahead, reminisce. Live it up, Unc.
You know, I think I'll go upstairs and find my old high school annual.
Sure, Unc, we'll excuse you.
Some of those girls got pretty mushy when they signed their names in my yearbook. See you later, Leroy. Marjorie.
Yeah.
All right, Unky. Leroy, you're not gaining a thing by postponing the inevitable.
Marge, I know what I'm doing. Did you see how slick I got him off the subject?
I sure thought he had you cornered.
Nah, not me. I like to match wits with old Unc. I guess I'm just too sharp for him.
You know, it's strange to me that Unky mistook a report card for a note from a girl.
Yeah, anybody should be able to tell that this envelope doesn't have a note in it. Hey, it does have a note in it. What? It's a note from Unc. Listen, Leroy, if I got an E in English, I'd throw away my report card, too.
The Great Gildersleeve will be back in just a moment.
April 30th, 1952, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of The Great Gildersleeve, April 30th, 1952.
Well, Leroy's report card is causing him a little embarrassment. He got a low grade in English. He tried to lose his report card by letting it blow out the window. Well, we hate to say it, but it served Leroy right when it blew right into the hands of the Great Gildersleeve.
Unc, how did you know I was trying to lose it?
Leroy, I couldn't help being a little curious when I saw you open the window and stick your report card way out on the ledge.
No camp this summer, huh?
No camp. According to our agreement, you had to be up in all 4 subjects if you wanted to go to camp for 4 weeks.
Well, I was up in 3 subjects and down in 1. How about going to camp for 3 weeks?
What?
You can knock off a week for the E in English.
No, Leroy, a rule is a rule. This has become a matter of principle. You shouldn't have tried to put one over on me.
Gosh, Unc, if I'd really wanted to trick you, I could have.
What's this, my boy?
I could have put my report card in the furnace and you'd never have seen it. But I wouldn't do that. I was a good little boy and practically dropped it in your lap.
No, Leroy.
Hey, why didn't I think of burning it?
No, you might as well forget about camp. I'm sorry, because I was hoping you'd get to go.
Unc, does it seem a little odd to you that the only subject I got a low mark in was English?
Odd?
That teacher could have had it in for me, you know.
Leroy, let's not try to shift the blame to your teacher.
Oh, I'm not.
Miss Turner has nothing against you.
I don't know. I'm not a very popular kid with Miss Turner.
Leroy, no teacher would give you a low grade on purpose.
Well, maybe she does it subconsciously. Like I say, she's the only one who grades me down. Looks fishy.
Yes, yes.
Unc, you should see some of the ridiculous marks she gives me on the themes I hand in.
Pretty bad, huh?
The themes are good, but she grades them bad.
Do you keep your themes, my boy?
I'll say. If she tries to flunk me at the end of the year, I'll need them for evidence. No kidding, they're swell. Wouldn't surprise me if I turned out to be a writer.
Well, you tell a good story.
No kidding, huh? I've been getting a raw deal.
All right. You bring all your English themes down tonight, and I'll read them.
Yeah?
If I decide Miss Turner's giving you a raw deal, you can go to camp.
How do you like that? Trapped myself again. When Uncle reads those themes, he'll know I deserve that low grade. In fact, Miss Turner was being real nice when she gave me that E. If I can get Mr. Peavy and some of his friends to come over, I might forget about them. Sure, Mr. Peavy will help me. He's a good guy. Hello, Mr. Peavy.
Hello, Leroy. What can I do for you today?
Mr. Peavy, can you remember when you were a little kid?
Oh, yeah?
Can you remember that far back?
Well, how big a little kid?
About like me.
Oh, Leroy, I remember very well when I was your age, strange as it may seem.
Swell. When you were a kid, did you ever want to go to camp?
Yes. As I recall, I wanted to go to camp with Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders.
No. I mean going to boys' camp this summer. Mr. Peavy, would you help a little kid swing it?
What do I have to buy to help the cause?
Well, you don't have to buy anything. All I want you to do is come over and spend the evening with Unc tonight.
That'll get you to camp?
Yeah, well, Unc promised to send me to camp if I got good grades on my report card. And, well, one of the grades didn't come out so hot. English.
Oh, I see.
He's going to give me a last chance by reading my themes tonight to see if they're any good.
And I take it you don't want that chance.
I sure don't. If you'll come over and visit with him, maybe he'll forget to read them.
Leroy, I'll make a deal with you.
Gosh, I always have to make a deal.
If you will promise to pull up your grades before school is out, I'll do what I can to get you to camp.
Oh, boy, will you, Mr. Peavy?
I know your uncle would like to see you go.
Oh, hey, he's parking out front. I bet he's coming in here. Where can I go?
You better scoot out the back way.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Peavy.
That's all right, Leroy. Well, I'm not accustomed to inviting myself to people's houses, but here goes.
Hello, Peavy.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you today?
Give me a Coke, Peavy.
Very well.
Yeah, it's getting a little warm outside.
Well, the fountain will be glad to hear it.
Here's your nickel.
No, this one's on the house, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh?
And what kind of cigars do you like?
Peavy, you know the kind of cigars I buy.
I know the kind you buy, but what kind do you like?
Well, at the annual water board meetings, I usually break out one of those 50 centers.
Very well. Here's one on the house.
Peavy, are you running for office?
Oh, my, no.
Well, thanks. Quite a cigar.
I'll bring another one over to your house tonight.
To my house?
I thought I might call on you for a while this evening.
Well, any other time I'd be glad to see you, Peavy, but I'm going to be busy tonight.
You mean you don't want me to come?
I didn't say that.
Well, that's the impression I got.
No, Peavy.
Of course, if you haven't time for your friends.
Peavy.
Anytime you want to visit, you come in here. But if I'm not welcome at your house,
Oh, my goodness.
I give you free Cokes, free cigars. I try to hold up my end of the friendship. But if it's come to the breaking point...
Peavy, for goodness sakes, come over tonight.
Now you're being sociable.
Miss Gildersleeve, is Mr. Peavy coming over?
Yes, Bertie, he is.
You staying in or going out tonight?
I don't know what Peavy wants to do, Bertie. I don't even know why he's coming over. But before he does, I wish you'd send Leroy into the den. I want to go over his English themes.
Yes, sir. I'll send him right in. I'll do that right away. Yes, sir. Leroy!
Yeah, Bertie?
Mr. Gildersleeve wants you and them themes in the den.
Yeah?
How you gonna hold him off till Mr. Peavy gets here?
Gosh, I thought I had that taken care of. Oh, there's the doorbell. I got it taken care of.
Good evening, Leroy.
Well, Judge Hooker. What a surprise.
Did I get here in time, Leroy?
Right on the nose. Come in, Judge.
Thank you.
Who is it, Leroy?
Guess what? Your old friend Judge Hooker came to call on you.
Hello, Gildy.
Well, Judge, I didn't expect to see you tonight.
I know you didn't, but it seemed a most appropriate evening to call.
The judge was very nice to think about you, Unc.
Well, make yourself at home in the parlor, Judge. I have a little business to take up with Leroy.
Say something, Judge.
Yeah. Gildy, this is a fine way to treat a caller.
What?
Brushing me off the minute I get here.
Judge, I have to closet myself for a little while and do some very important reading.
Do you mean you prefer to go off someplace and read while I, your guest, cool my heels in the parlor?
The Judge causing problems again. April 30th, 1952, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for listening.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Great Gildersleeve, April 30th, 1952.
Oh, goat, he doesn't have heels, he has hoofs.
I don't know when I've been so insufferable.
Now, Judge.
I'll get it, Bertie.
Why does everybody insist on visiting me tonight?
It shows how popular you are, Gildy, in spite of your rudeness.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Come in, Mr. Peavy.
Oh, it's Peavy.
Hello, Judge. Mr. Gildersleeve, here's that other cigar I promised you.
You're all right, Peavy. Let's everybody sit down.
I didn't know you were coming over, Peavy.
I didn't expect to see you here either.
Unc, doesn't it make you feel good to have so many good friends drop in on you?
Well, it is a little flattering, Leroy. Especially the way they insist on coming.
Oh, hello, Mr. Peavy, Judge.
Yeah, hello, Marjorie.
Evening, Marjorie.
It looks like a convention.
Oh, excuse me. Phone.
I'll get it, Unky. Hello? Oh, yes, Mr. Munson.
It's Floyd.
Oh, is he coming too?
What's that? Oh, well, I'll tell him. Goodbye. Leroy.
Yeah?
Mr. Munson said to tell you he couldn't come over tonight.
Okay.
Did I say something wrong?
Leroy. What's going on?
Is something going on?
Did you invite a house full of people over here tonight?
Well...
Horace, did you know I plan to spend the evening checking Leroy's English themes?
Don't cross-examine me. I'm a lawyer.
Peavy, I suppose you came over tonight just to enjoy my company.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Leroy.
Yeah?
March into the den. You and I are going to read those themes.
Okay.
Peavy, you and the judge know where the cribbage board is. I'll see you later.
All right, Gilda.
Have a good nation to take my cigar and go home.
Now, Leroy, let's have them.
Here they are.
No, not the one off the top. It's probably your best one. I'll take one out of the middle. Right here. Here. Here's one Miss Turner marked with a big red E. What's the title? My favorite subject. My boy. You don't spell favorite, F-A-V-R-I-T.
Okay, Unc, don't read it. I'll give up trying to get to camp.
Leroy, you're going to sit and listen and suffer through it with me. Now, let's begin. When I am asked to write about my favorite subject, it's easy. Favorite. Here's a subject that is very close to me. It is too bad other kids do not have one as good as me. Leroy, that's very bad English.
I know.
I don't blame Miss Turner for grading you low. Well, let's wade through it. Have you guessed who my favorite subject is? No, he is not a dog. He is the City Water Commission. He is also my uncle, and the best uncle a kid could have. Leroy. That is why I say it is too bad other kids don't have one as good as me. See, I don't see anything so wrong with this.
You don't?
Well, I can see how Miss Turner could give you an E for grammatical errors, but by George, the subject matter deserves an A. Here, let me go on. He is a big man who aren't afraid of nobody. Judge, Peavy, come see what little Leroy wrote.
Let's see. It's $1.60 and 25.
Well, Leroy, what are you doing by the phone?
Adding up my money. I'm earning the dough to pay my expenses at camp.
Yeah, good for you. By George, you're a fine boy.
Thanks, Unc.
You may not be the smartest, but you've got character. And that's what counts.
Yeah.
Good luck with your project, my boy.
Thanks, Unc. Now, who's next on the list? Here it is. Hello? Piggy? Leroy. How'd you come out in English? Got an E, huh? Is your dad gonna let you go to camp? He isn't, huh? Well, I got a theme that'll swing it for you. 2 bits of copy, results guaranteed, or your money back.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White. It is partially transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Earl Ross, and Dick LeGrand. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
April 30th, 1952, The Great Gildersleeve here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Look out, Johnny Dollar is next.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
For what?
The print, broadcasting, and bus benches. We're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we start a brand new yours truly Johnny Dollar story. This one, the Callicles Matter. This first part of the 5-part series was originally broadcast April 30th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
This is Robert Ecker, Mr. Parsons' secretary. You telephone this office for an appointment with Mr. Parsons.
That's right. I'm an investigator, Mr. Ecker. I was sent here by Eastern Casualty and Trust. We understand David Parsons is missing. I want to talk to Mr. Parsons Sr. about it.
Oh. Well, Mr. Parsons Sr. isn't in the office today. He's home ill.
This is pretty important, Mr. Ecker. Maybe I better call him at home.
Why don't you come to the office? I'll try to arrange to take you out there.
I don't want to be a lot of trouble.
There'd be more trouble if I didn't.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Eastern Casualty and Trust Company, number 25 Yardley Boulevard, Boston, Massachusetts. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Callicles Matter. Expense account item 1, $200, 5 cents, airfare and incidentals, Hartford to Los Angeles. I arrived at midnight, went straight to the Beverly Hilton, had a good night's sleep, and woke up to an early spring heat wave. By 9 o'clock, I had placed my call to Parsons, Stocks and Bonds. At 10 o'clock, I met Robert Ecker in person. He was a man about my age with a thin face and good clothes. Judging from his office, the job as secretary was a pretty responsible one.
I don't quite understand this, Mr. Dollar. What made you think that Mr. Parsons Jr. is missing?
Is he around?
You mean, is he in town?
Yeah, is he in town? Is he around? Can I see him?
Well, none of us exactly knows where he is, but he's not what you'd call missing.
Well, now, that depends on how you look at it, Mr. Ecker. We understand David Parsons hasn't been seen for 10 days. Is my information wrong?
Well, no, what you say is true. You mean you're here to look into the matter?
That's about it.
May I say something?
Sure.
When you're speaking of David Parsons in front of his father, Mr. Parsons Sr., I suggest that you don't use that word missing.
I'll try to remember that.
The connotation might upset him. I'm certain he doesn't regard Mr. Parsons' absence in the missing sense.
Maybe you can tell me how he does regard it.
I'm afraid I can't. Mr. Parsons Sr. doesn't confide in me.
How about David Parsons' wife?
Sorry.
How about your own opinion?
I'd rather keep my opinions to myself, Mr. Dollar. There's nothing personal, but Mr. Parsons Sr. is very adamant about certain matters.
In other words, Mr. Parsons Sr. does all of the thinking for publication.
So to speak, yes. What concern does the Eastern...
Casualty and Trust Company have in this matter?
Yes. What is the bonding company's concern?
$100,000. It was an automatic write-up on David Parsons Jr. when he entered the firm.
I still don't understand.
David Parsons had access to great amounts of money and transferable bonds here. That's where we're responsible, Mr. Ecker.
Is that an inference?
If it sounds like I'm worried that David Parsons might have walked off with some money or some bonds, it's an inference.
That's rather ridiculous, isn't it?
I don't know whether it is or not, Mr. Ecker.
I regard it that way. Mr. Parsons is worth a considerable amount of money. $1 million would be a conservative estimate of his fortune. His father, of course, is, well, Mr. Parsons Sr.
Yes, we're well aware of Mr. Parsons' holding But sometimes things aren't what they seem. You know what I mean?
No, I'm afraid I don't know exactly what you mean, Mr. Dollar.
Well, now, take these, for instance.
Mr. Dollar.
Take these.
Just what?
Here, these copies of Eastern Casualty's policies on your desk, Mr. Ecker. Now, let's see. You called me about 9. It's a little after 10 now. That gave you an hour to dig them out, study them over, and answer for yourself the exact questions you've been making me answer. Isn't that about it, Mr. Ecker?
Yes. Yes, I'd say that's just about it, Mr. Dollar.
Robert Ecker drove me out to the Bel Air home of David Parsons Sr. On the way, he spoke of the weather, the situation in Algiers, the trouble he had making reservations for weekends in Palm Springs, and the low fuel consumption of his new Studebaker Golden Hawk. He avoided very carefully any further mention of David Parsons Jr., the missing son. I put a couple of direct questions to him, which he answered indirectly by referring me to Mr. Parsons Sr., so I let it go at that.
Jenny? Jenny? Somebody must be around.
You said your phone.
I did. Jenny? Oh, hello.
Hello, Robert. Nobody around?
No one so far.
They must be upstairs. He's been at it today. Called me over here an hour ago. Oh, I'm Mrs. Parsons.
I'm Johnny Dollar. How do you do?
I beg your pardon.
You shouldn't, Robert. It was purposeful.
Mrs. Parsons.
I'm the one you're not supposed to meet, Mr. Dollar. I'm David's wife. I just received orders from upstairs that this matter will be handled upstairs.
Is that so?
Oh, yes, that's quite so. My father-in-law feels that he has extraordinary competence in this matter. As in all matters, huh, Robert?
We'd better get along, Mr. Dollar.
How do you feel?
No, I feel fine.
I mean about your father-in-law handling it.
That makes very little difference, Mr. Dollar. It's my husband who's missing, but his son. You're a policeman or a detective, aren't you?
In a way, yes.
You look like a very charming man, Mr. Dollar.
Ecker! Ecker, that you down there?
Just a moment, Mr. Parsons.
Hurry up!
You may have to practice some charm on him.
Thank you for the tip, Mrs. Parsons.
Not at all. It was nice to have met you. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Mrs. Parsons. We'd better get up there.
Ecker!
Robert Ecker led me upstairs into a massive bedroom that could only have been decorated for a massive old man, which is exactly what David Parsons Sr. turned out to be. 6.5 feet tall, I guessed at it, since he was stretched out in bed. He had a pair of coal black eyes and white hair liberally sprinkled with gray. He spilled a briefcase full of papers and documents off the bed, punched his pillow around, and glared hard at me.
What's his name?
This is Mr. Dollar, Mr. Parsons.
You see if he had any credentials?
No, sir.
Well, find out!
Mr. Dollar.
Sure. Here, look these over.
I'll look them over. Hand them to me.
Yes, Mr. Parsons.
They could be forgeries. He could be a newspaper reporter, something like that. Go downstairs and use the hall phone. Call this company and see if they have anyone named Johnny Dollar working for them. And hurry it up.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Those credentials are genuine. You know it and I know it, Mr. Parsons. I'm not waiting around here while you call Boston and talk to someone there you won't believe either. Now, I'm at the Beverly Hilton. You call me when you've made up your mind to talk about this matter.
Fine. Now get out.
I got in town last night and contacted your office first thing. I wanted to talk to you about it first for several reasons. One, you're David Parsons' father. It's your company, not his, that can be jeopardized in a situation like this. Two, you seem the logical man to see to clear up the matter easily. Now that I've seen you, I'm not so sure of that. I'll have to go to somebody else.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, go to somebody else?
I mean, I'm not going to sit in a hotel room cooling my heels waiting for you to call me. I have to find out about this, and there are other people to talk to. Your son's wife, the whole household.
They wouldn't let you in.
The police, if I have to.
I'd break you. I'd break you in half.
Then I'd get pretty mad, and both halves of me would figure this thing out if it took 1,000,000 years and $1 million.
Ecker.
Yes, sir?
Get out of here.
Yes, sir.
You've got 5 minutes.
I've got 5 minutes and 10 minutes and 1,000,000 minutes if I need them. We have a report your son's been missing for 10 days now. One of our brokers reported it. He happened to be one of your son's clients.
Missing.
All right, where is he?
How would I know?
I take that to mean you don't know. Do you have any ideas?
Of course not.
Have you had an audit of your books since he disappeared?
What?
Have you had an audit? Is there anything missing? Bonds, cash in the company?
Ecker! Ecker! Throw this bum out of here and make sure he bounces a couple of times.
Mr. Parsons.
Throw him out!
I've got you by a good 25 pounds, Ecker.
Maybe you'd better leave, Mr. Dollar.
I think I'll stay.
Oh, if I could get out of this bed, I'd do it myself. Ecker!
Run along, Mr. Ecker. He'll calm down. I can wait him out.
You leave without throwing him out and you're fired. Throw him out!
I'll wait for you downstairs, Mr. Dollar.
All right. Sit down. What day's today?
Friday.
It was a week ago Tuesday. David left the house, according to his wife, and that's the last anyone saw him. No word, nothing since then.
No police?
Of course not, no police.
I can hear you. Why?
You know why as well as I do. An investment broker missing. What the papers wouldn't do with that.
What's been going on?
Nothing. We've been waiting to hear from him.
No one's done anything?
What is there to do that won't bring out the press?
Look, I'm not worried about the press. I'm worried about your son, Mr. Parsons. Whatever happened to him has had a 10-day start, and nothing's been done about it. Now, how about the books?
What about them?
Have you had an audit?
Now, look here, you
Keep
young...
your voice down, will you? I ask you a simple question. Have you found anything missing?
I haven't looked. Where are you going?
Well, if what you say is true, no one's seen or heard of David Parsons for 10 days, then I'm going to get some help.
What help?
Police.
I don't want any police in on this. How much does your responsibility come to?
$100,000.
I'll post it in cash.
You'll what?
I'll post that amount of money and assume your liability, if there is a liability. You'll never get a fairer offer than that. I don't want this matter to get into the papers. Well?
Look, Mr. Parsons, we have assumed liability, and we can't transfer it at this date. It's out of the question. So let's start our planning from there. I met Mrs. Parsons downstairs. I understand she's not supposed to meet me or see me. Now, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you better fix up that part of it.
That's so?
Yeah.
Suppose I don't.
I'll see her anyhow.
Get out of here!
He was looking for something to throw when I stepped out the door and walked down the hall to the stairway. At the foot of the stairs, I looked around for Robert Eckert, who wasn't around. I found my hat by the door, and then I ran into Mrs. Parsons again.
Mr. Dollar?
Yes?
What's been decided? What's he going to do about David?
Well, it's pretty hard to say what he's going to do about anything.
What are you going to do?
I was going to drive over to your house this afternoon and ask you to go to the police and make out a missing persons report. If you refused to do that, I was going to the police myself and ask their help.
Oh. Do you think that's the thing to do? I mean, a missing person report?
Yep, I think that's the thing to do.
I'll be home later this afternoon. He might hear us.
All right. Say 2 o'clock?
Fine.
You cool off?
Oh, for a second or two. Some museum piece he is.
Be careful of him, Mr. Dollar. He'll break your heart. He's your kind. You're his dish of meat.
Yeah. I didn't pay much attention to that remark from Robert Ecker. I thought about Svengali and Rasputin and a couple of fellas like that. I didn't think of Parsons Sr. in the same class with them. But I should have guessed it. Ecker's trying to tell me, but I just wouldn't listen.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, some more facts about how the Earth swallowed a man. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
That's part 1 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Callicles Matter, from April 30th, 1956 here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And if you miss a day on this station, it hasn't just disappeared into the ether. No, you can hear our programs on iHeartRadio or Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, or Facebook on demand. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And by the way, you can also hear the shows on demand on our webpage. You can not only contact me on the webpage, you can hear our shows on demand. You can get all of our social media links. That webpage, classicradio.stream. That is classicradio.stream. Thank you for listening. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.